video game is Cities in Motion 2. This is a really good video game. It's not really a city builder. It's a transportation game. The buildings do grow. And I have been planning to add a subway line, which is what I'm going to do today. I'm looking for the appropriate place to lay down the line. Oh, wow, this is a great line right over here. You want to do it in a logical manner. I'm a big believer in trying to be as realistic as possible. I don't want to, to cheat the game or whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do it in the way a real subway would be done. And I guess maybe I should do it on this row over here. So I'm looking at this row coming down. Great place to put a subway right over here. We're going to go to our tools, and the subway is green. We want to do the underground subway. Just going to drop it in like this. And the underground subway is, it's Metro track. So we're going to put bidirectional Metro track. We're going to expose the lower level using this button here. And then I'm going to drop bidirectional Metro track. You have to adjust the height offset using the page down. And I'm going to line it up on this road. So I'm going to drop it here. It's going to be some overlay with the tram line on the upper level, which is going to be good because when we drop down the metro stations, we're going to try to match them up with the surface, which is going to allow people to go above the surface, below the surface. It's going to give them better access. They're going to have more choice in terms of transportation. I am going to tell you that what I'm doing has an issue with it that you're not going to be that happy with, which is that when you want to connect the subway, a little bit difficult. See what I mean? So this is a good place. I'm going to drop it over here. Well, it won't let me build it. You know what? It's possible my whole rail wasn't proper. Yeah, maybe I didn't go down enough. It's possible that I got to do more than 8 meters. I haven't played this game in a long time. So I'm going to redo it. You don't want it to be red. Red looks bad. Yeah, look at that. I must have made a mistake. Yeah. So I'm going to drop it down a little further. Look at all that beautiful traffic. Eventually we'll get to doing some underground highways, but you know, I have the feeling that this video is going to be just about subways. I used to live in New York City, and in New York City there is a subway line. There's obviously more than one line. There is a subway system in New York City. And I'm going to tell you, living in a city with a subway is great, It's a wonderful thing. There's a lot of American cities that do not have subways. I'm going to use the example Dallas, Fort Worth. It makes life a lot better, especially if you don't own a car. Very convenient to get to work. Even living outside the city, I used to drive to New York City every day, and I would park near a subway station, which you just park anywhere in the city, you're near a subway station, and then I would take the train to work. You know what my first job was? I used to work for a online video game company. It was the first online video game company, and it was one of the top 10 most popular websites. It was back in 1996. So you've all heard of the Sony PlayStation. What you probably don't know is that Sony PlayStation used to be a website, was not a video game console. And not only was it a website, the games were Wheel of Fortune, and I believe the other game was Jeopardy. And those were the only two games that you could play. This was an issue that I mentioned before about you're not going to like doing this. If you drop under a road, and I was trying to drop it in an open area, you see, when you do this, it's a pain to connect. I might have to do the whole thing over again. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to the bidirectional rail. It's letting me select, but it has to let you select the rail. Oh, you know what? I know a way to fix this. You start the rail somewhere else, like right over here, and then you connect it. Yeah, it's going to be a pain to fix this. I don't remember if there's another way to do it. I mean, obviously I could delete the upper road. Probably the best idea. Yeah, I'm going to delete the road. Yep, see, there it is. So that's why you want to end it out in the open. All you got to do is go like this and then continue building. I actually I was going to make a 3D city builder game. It was called Modern World. And this was like 20 years ago. And I based it on New York City because I was living in New York at the time. I made a 3D model of Manhattan, and I was going to do trains, and I built, the Brooklyn Bridge and all that stuff. And I started doing the trains, and you have to lay the track, and then you have to make the train follow along the track. And I was like, it was so difficult to make the train follow the track that I said, you know what, I'm going to make a flying game instead. And what I did was I made a little flight simulator where you had a little airplane. I had to make all these little 3D models. I don't remember how I did it, but I definitely did it. So I made all these 3D models of airplanes, and I made this little flight simulator, and I had, you know, the video game had its own language, I guess you could argue. And, wait a second, isn't there supposed to be a track here? There it is, okay. And I actually had to make commands like take off and land, ascend, descend. I don't remember the commands for rotating, but to change direction, you know, I had to actually program all those different commands. Okay, so we're going to put a surface road. I believe it's just going to be a regular road. It's not the same road. Don't care. Fits perfect. So the subway's coming along. I got to be honest, don't even know where it is. Obviously, you can't make the subway run forever because the trains will start to break down. I've had maps before where, because of the way I designed it, it was not possible for the trams to do the one complete route without completely breaking down. You know what, maybe I got the wrong track? Is that the wrong track? It says tram. Not going to let me connect. So I got to do the same thing. Gonna have to delete the road. It'll be the best subway ever. People are going to be lining up for days to get on this subway. You can see on the mini-map, I am nowhere near the edge. Got a long way to go. Don't worry about the road segment that was deleted. It's really not going to impact the game because it's not in a location that has a lot of traffic. They'll easily reroute and find their way around. We're getting there. I see the edge coming up. Oh, look at that. There's another train over here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish it off over here. I'm going to spin the train around. And I'm going to switch to a single track. Usually you have to build the loop using 2 segments like that. Now I got to go find the part that I broke. I am going to tell you, you know what, I may have done something wrong. I seem to recall that when I used to do this, I would run it not under the road, but alongside the road. I might have a problem here placing stations. I'm going to find out. That little car over there. This is the metro, that's the station. I don't remember how it's done because there were different versions of Cities in Motion. Okay, so this one you just place an arrow alongside. I think it's better to start at the beginning. And I think I'm going to have to rotate it this way. Yeah, this is going to work. So we're going to make sure all the circles touch. It doesn't have to be exact. Obviously, there's many ways to do the coverage. They don't. You could either overlap them, make them touch. It really doesn't matter. The reason why I don't care is because I've been playing this game so many times that it's really not that important to me how much they overlap. The game's going to work whether you overlap them or not. And the fact is, the fewer stations you put, a little bit better for the subway system in terms of the trains breaking down. I will be doing a lot. Oh, you know what? I should be doing double the stations just to make it easy. I will be doing a lot of Cities in Motion's videos. It is a wonderful game. So again, if you want it to be easier, what you do is you put the rail next to the road and you put the stops on the side roads instead of on the main road. That's the way you do it. So here we're going to have a little bit of a gap in the coverage. No big deal. Eventually we'll have the entire map covered. You know, when I was a kid, when you bought a computer, didn't have any games. And we used to buy magazines. I'm talking about in the 1980s. One of the magazines I would buy was called Compute Magazine. And another one was called Compute's Gazette. And there were others. And they would put games in the magazine, and what you had to do is you had to type in the game. And in Europe, they would give you like a little floppy disk that had the game on it, and it would be included with the magazine. So the games were very simple. very cheap. But you had to type the game in. You had to go through all the code. It would take like a month to type the code in. One day my father came home from work and he said, hey, one of the guys I work with, he's got a computer. He said, give him floppy disks and he will give you games. 100 floppy disks. And I got 100 floppy disks, and my father came back home short time later with tons of games. And I doubt I played all of them. There were so many. But I remember one of them was called Paperboy. Paperboy was one of the first video games that was different than all the other existing games. All the games were, you know, Space Invader type games, etc. They all had the same formula. But Paperboy did something a little bit different where you had to deliver newspapers. It was a very different game. It was one of a kind. Yeah, it looks like the game's not letting me place the object here. I did see the arrow. There's obviously a way to place it. Yeah, there it is. I've played all the major city builder games, tycoon games. Like, I had the first SimCity, it was probably in the 1980s. And I played all the versions of SimCity and Tropico, Civilization. I remember playing Civ 3 many years ago, and the computer was so slow that I would only make 5 turns per hour. And I remember one day I was thinking, you know, the last month, I calculated how much time I spent just waiting for the computer to make its turn. Because, you know, me making my 5 turns probably took me 5 minutes. And the other 55 minutes was the computer thinking about taking its turn. That's how slow the computer was. And I literally quit the game because of how slow it was. So if you are a regular listener on my channel, I am doing something different. I have a new strategy regarding playing games. And I am going to change the games that I play and, of course, the videos that I make. It is going to require constantly installing and uninstalling games. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. Started talking about the magazines. There was this guy, his name is Jim Butterfield. Always remember him. He was so helpful, not for playing video games, just for programming computers in general. He was a major contributor to teaching people how to program computers. A very famous guy. Okay, so I got the stations laid, and I am going to do track. You do the green circle, you do the little loopy thing. I'm going to do create new metro, start here. No, that's not how you do it. You got to hit the flag with the plus sign. You start here. You know, I've been playing video games since the 1970s. The first game that I played was Pong. And I don't remember where. I remember playing it. I remember that you only play it so much, you know, it's not that exciting of a game. And I remember playing Space Invaders a lot. Space Invaders was like the video game. You know, Pong was the first one, but Space Invaders was the first game that people really got value out of playing video games. And if you don't know what Space Invaders is, it's about a bunch of alien craft, and they're coming from the top of the screen, and they're trying to land on the surface, and you have to shoot at them before they all land. And then there was a game called Centipede and Millipede, which is essentially the same thing. It came out many years later. But Space Invaders was the big video game. And then there was another one, Missile Command, which was missiles coming towards the ground, and you had to fire counter battery. I had an Atari 2600, great little device. And I had a Commodore 64. I remember my friend had a VIC-20. Another friend had maybe a TSR-80 or something. They were great things to own. Back then, if you owned a computer, you were going to learn computer programming. And the reason why is because using the computer, let's say you need to start a game, you have to know the programming language in order to load the game. If you wanted to edit a file, anything you wanted to do was programming language based. So it's like using what they call the MS-DOS. There was no GUI, no mouse. So you would do, like, if you wanted to print something on the screen, you'd have to type in the command. And you could not, you wanted to draw a line, you couldn't do it. I actually wrote my own paint program. I wrote more than one paint program. I wrote my own paint program. It was pretty cool. You move the mouse and you can pick different colors and draw lines. And there was no command in the computer to draw a line, so I had to figure out how to do it. I had to get all the math formulas, and I had to figure out how to draw a line on the screen and how to draw a circle. So if you don't know this, the pixels on your screen are not square. So if you draw a circle, you do not get a perfect circle. You get a weird looking circle. I don't know if I missed a stop in here. It's too hard to tell. It looks like there's a stop right there. There it is. See? I used computers virtually every day of my life since 1982. Especially during the summer. And, you know, a lot of it was playing video games. A lot of it was also computer programming. So once you get the line down, you go to the depot, and you're going to add vehicles. There's a lot of options. All of them are a waste of time. Like, it's got something to build your own trains. It's a waste of time. These are the default trains, but you can build your own. It says I need 6. I'm going to make 10 because it's a long line. I'm going to make 12. It's a long line. They're going to break down a lot. And there it is. I'm going to do coverage. So we're going to talk about the mistake that I made. I did not pay attention to make sure that my stops matched stops on the surface. I don't think it's going to be a big deal because my train line is mostly in new territory. So now that I did this, I could go all the way up over here and make a bus line or something. These people might be really excited about taking the subway system, and the reason why is because if they take a car, it's going to take too long to get to where they got to go. Going to be interesting to see. Maybe I'll make a bus line. See what happens. Looks like we got a road over here that's good for a bus line. Not enough space. Come on. It says it's because of the slope or something. Looks flat. When you destroy a building, it's going to take a long time for that building to come back. So avoid doing it. Over here, we got to make sure that people get from the bus to the subway. The subway station is right here. Looks like there's a subway station missing. That's weird. I gotta check that out. I don't want to make too many stops. I'm going to come around to here. What I could do is go for coverage and build on another road, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go back and I'm going to build the bus on one road. I could have built it on this road over here, would have picked up more passengers. Okay, I'm going to create a new line. Hit the flag with the plus, start over here. Okay, the reason why there's only one subway, I think, is because we're at the end of the loop, maybe? Maybe I made a mistake. You know what? I don't make mistakes ever. So it can't be that. No way to get here. So we have to delete this stop. Go to here. And continue back. Not a long line, it's no big deal because I can extend it later. And then I'm going to go to the depot. I'm going to buy a bunch of buses. You click on the bus with the cash. I'm going to buy the one that carries the most passengers. Okay, now I want to see what's wrong here. Did I make a mistake? Because it looks like there's only one. You should see another train stop. Unless there's one on top of the other. I mean, this has got to be a metro station, right? Oh, there is something right here. And there are passengers waiting. So it looks like you enter here to get to there. That's got to be the reason why. Or maybe I'm wrong. There's a stop there, isn't there? Looks like it's right here. Yeah, it is on the Metro line. I did connect it properly. I'm a genius. Okay, this bus line is relatively short. Different ways to fix it. I could extend it going out that way. Gonna build stops continuing this way. You got to cover everything over here. It's too close to the edge of the map, so it's really the smart thing to do. Okay, now I'm going to add this to the line. I'm going to click on the line. Then I'm going to click on the flag with the plus sign. I'm going to continue on to here. One of the things that's cool is you got little police cars and ambulances driving around. It's pretty cool. Okay, so the bus line is now longer. It's pretty good for a bus line going across this far. And there are passengers on the subway. So what I might do is extend the bus line out through these neighborhoods a little more. Green means they have multiple, the green over here is multiple transportation stops. Yellow means that there's only one, and then red means that there's 0. So I'm going to see if I can find, I could extend out through this way. I could do due south. I could just run through here on this road, which is probably what I'm going to do. And then I'll have it come up over here and connect to here. So I'm going to build bus stops over here. They're going to come down to here. And over to here. I'm going to do more subway lines, right? But what's going to happen with these bus stops is it's going to carry people to the subways. So from here, it will go up to here, connect over to here, come down to here. We're going to return to the bus station, obviously. I am going to put the bus stop right here so that people can get right to the subway conveniently. I am a full service transportation operator. And then I'm going to put a stop over here to dump any passengers who might want to transfer to the other line. So then we connect here. We do create new line. We're going to take the first stop, bring them down through here. Again, this is intended to transport people to the subway line. And you see how it's going around over here to do the drop-off? What I could do is make it go up over here and connect to the other bus line. But I don't think it's going to be necessary, because as we add more connections, it's going to connect all the dots, as you could say. So in this case, I'm going to come up over here for people that want to connect and go that way. I'm going to connect over here. You know what? I'll connect over here too. And then over to here. We go back. And over here they connect to the subway. And there it is. So now we are going to add vehicles. That's a live line. We need 7 buses. And I'm going to choose the one with the greatest capacity, because the main issue you're going to have is passengers that don't get picked up. Like over here, there's 14 passengers. You see, I missed the coverage, but don't worry, because when the next subway line comes through, then it will pick up on that. So you saw the wrong way to do the subway. I'm thinking we'll do it along this road over here. Let's check coverage. We'll do it like going through the red neighborhood over here. Gonna do the same station. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna have the outgoing line. It's difficult. You really want the train to kind of loop around and reconnect. We'll do it later. For now, I'm just gonna do the double connection right here. See, it worked perfectly. Did the game just crash? Game just crashed, I'm sorry. Okay, so the game crashed, and yeah, it's blank. Okay, so I'm going to fix this. You know what? I'm just going to rerun it, right? So you go to Steam and go to Cities in Motion. Man, I didn't save the game. All those subways are gone. I'm going to have to rebuild everything. Going to add a thumbnail background. Guess I'm not. I gotta check something. There's something wrong with the file name. JFIF. Why would anybody do that? JFIF is JPEG. It means JPEG file interchange format. Wow, look how beautiful it is. Okay. Let's see if there's an autosave. It's so hot here. Okay, so I'm gonna probably have to redrop all the subway. See the fat guy? That's me. You know how it is, fat guys walk around with cameras. And the guy from the Village People gets on the bus last. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a tram. I've ridden trams before. They have one in New Jersey. They call it the light rail. And they had one in Louisiana, which everybody knows is pronounced New Orleans. There's no other pronunciation. So over there they have like a tram that goes in the middle of the road, and I don't remember how you get on, but I remember, I think they're automated. I don't remember drivers or anything. Doing Metro. So this time I'm going to do between the roads. It's going to be a lot easier. Going 12 meters down. I hit the page down to 12 meters. You're going to see it's a lot easier. When you do underground highways, I recommend you do the same thing. Yeah, I think I'm going this way. Underground highways are more difficult. They take up a lot more space. You got to make connections to the surface, etc. Man, I am very hungry. You want to know what I had? Last ate 2 hot dogs and a Jollibee bacon burger. I'm going to tell you, did not get the full bacon experience. Over here in the Philippines, the food is very sweet. So I'm Italian, for those of you who don't know. And Italians are very picky about things such as tomato sauce. So over here, it's very sweet. And I really only love my grandmother's tomato sauce. Although my father's tomato sauce was also very good. There's a loop over here I could use. And I don't like it sweet. I like it kind of meat flavored. I know the secret. My grandmother told me the secret before she died. She takes 3 different kinds of meat, like beef, lamb, chicken, and pork, which is obviously 3 different kinds. And she cooks it in the sauce. Like, she'll put the chicken legs, and the pork and all that, and the beef in the sauce while it's cooking. And then, what the hell? I can't, oh, yeah. Train yard. And then when she's ready to jar it, I used to do the jarring. In an Italian family, everybody contributes to jarring. You remove all those meats, and there's going to be little bits of meat in there, which is, of course, absolutely amazing. I didn't put any stops down. And that's how you get the amazing flavor. Tell you, my father did a great job with the tomato sauce. My mother, not so much. So my mother's side of the family wasn't so much with the meat. They were more about, I guess, fish. I don't know. You know what? I should be doing double. Makes it easier. I know you're going to think this is crazy, but it's real. When I would go to college, all the relatives would give me tomato sauce. They would make jars of tomato sauce and then give it to me. And I would cook pasta with tomato sauce from different people in the family. You know what they made? My grandmother would make lasagna and pizza, and I would take out 6-hour drive to college, and I would take it with me. I visited my family often, like sometimes every weekend. I had a car, would drive back, it's 6-hour drive, it's had nothing else to do. I know all about how to jar tomato sauce. I know the whole process. How to make tomato sauce, not just a computer programmer. My cousin does landscaping. And funny story he told me. One day he was making fun of his boss, and he was sitting on his cell phone while he was driving in his truck, and the boss heard the whole conversation because I guess it left a message on his boss's voicemail. So my friend was talking about digging a hole, and when I made a comment, he said that I wouldn't understand anything about holes because they have nothing to do with computers, and it was a very funny joke. And of course, if you post it, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say it. But if you post it in the joke in the wrong place, you get banned. That's not why I brought it up, but there's people that don't like jokes. Did that say line 1? And line 2. Okay, so apparently there's all. Oh, you know what? I believe that I created a line by mistake. Before I put the stops down. Okay, got the depot. Or maybe it's pronounced depot. So I did not pay attention to aligning the subway stations with the other transportation. Like, here's an example. The people will walk a little bit of a distance. They'll go like 2 blocks, maybe more. In fact, they'll walk to work. I've seen them do it before. Like, if you put a stop near a long bridge over the river and they get angry, they will walk across the bridge. It's a dog barking. You know, I live in the Philippines, so you hear things like roosters crowing. It was the same in South America. Lots of wild animals. If you want a friend, just walk outside. There's lots of dogs and cats. In Colombia, there were a lot of donkeys and horses, and they would have donkeys pulling carts. You know, this is actually a funny story. I would see a donkey pulling a cart every day and dumping concrete into a pile. And I never knew what it was. And then after a while, I figured it out. They're building an apartment complex, and they were using the donkey to move all the concrete away from the building construction to dump it in another part of the property. They owned a big complex. And there was this guy who would show up, I don't know if it was every day, I really don't remember, with goats and ducks. And I didn't have the dog. I didn't have my dog or cat at the time because they were in the United States. So if I had my dog and my cat, I would have taken them down to go play with the goats and the ducks. My dog would have loved it. Okay, now we need to add the vehicles. Designing your own vehicles, waste of time. You want to do it, but I seem to recall that if you pick one of the pre-made vehicles, you basically get something equivalent. I gotta eat soon or something. You know, I'm just gonna check what time I ate. It's 9:30 right now. And I ate at 3 a.m. 7 hours ago. So I'm definitely going to save this line. The game did crash. However, what I discovered is that it's not the type of thing where it's going to keep on crashing at the same point. Like, it'll crash and then I'll get to continue playing, and then a few hours later, maybe it'll crash again, or once a day or something. You can still keep on going playing the game. Oh, I lost all those bus lines too. See, I didn't do a good job over here with the coverage. Kind of makes more sense. I don't know if these are workplaces probably. Yeah. Might make more sense to build the transportation to the workplace. I don't know. But I do know everything. I'm thinking I might build a parallel line going here, picking up people here, maybe following the road. It's going to be difficult. Got to bring it 3 down. It's 12 minus 12 meters. Going to go alongside the highway, which is a piece of garbage highway. Yeah, there's another line down here. I'm going to bypass that line. Maybe this is the point where I have to start swinging over. Yeah. You got to kind of learn the distance you got to be apart from the other line. I'm not going to worry too much about gaps in the coverage. Eventually it will be fixed. It's very easy to fix. You just run like a bus to all the areas where there's a gap. Tram depot needs more vehicles. It might have been something I fixed before it crashed. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to merge this with the other subway line. The proper way to do it is to make the track go underneath and reconnect. But I'm not going to do it right now. This just needs me to buy more vehicles is all. Somebody yelling. I do live in a hotel, for those of you who are curious. I'm curious. I'm bi-curious. So I'm going to do both ways. Obviously, because there's a lot of coverage over here, it's okay for me to have gaps, but it's not okay to do it everywhere. Fine, but don't hire me. Fine, haunt me then. Okay, it looks good. I have a very sore throat. I have to apologize. Very, very sore throat. And it's been going on for a long time. No, I do not have anything that is respiratory related. It's because it's a very dry, very hot, not really dry because we are on the water. But, you know, there's issues when you don't run the air conditioner and it gets so hot over here. So, you know what, maybe I made this line too close to the other line and the coverage is not going to be good. I don't know. I am hungry. I'm going to have to take a break and order food. Unfortunately, because of the insanity of people who think they know what's best for us, we're not able to go eat at restaurants right now. So I have to have everything delivered. You have no idea how crazy they are over here. They, you know, for over a year, they blocked all the roads. They had police everywhere. You're only allowed to enter a neighborhood if you had a pass. And everything had to be delivered. And we have to wear double coverings. You know, you're complaining you wear one. I got to wear two. We got to wear cloth and plastic. And completely stupid. And they literally put you have to like if you go to 7-Eleven, they spray your hands when you walk in the door with alcohol. And it's so crazy that they put large rubber pads on the ground and they spray them with sanitizer. They dump sanitizer on it, and the cars have to drive over it to sanitize the tires. And I've seen people walking around the streets, we're talking about government employees, with large devices spraying the sidewalks. These people are crazy. It's 90 degrees. The sunlight gets rid of all that stuff. I know why they're doing it. It has to do with people going and putting someone's name on a little piece of paper one day every couple years, and that person wants his name on that paper. He wants to make sure that he comes out on top. So that's why they do all this stuff. So you see now we got fewer gaps now. Keep in mind there is a possibility the trains will block the route. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Maybe sometime in the future I will go and I'll make it so that the train goes under the tracks in order to stop blockage. You know what? I need to get something to eat, and I don't have any